Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your Rangers review. It's your team news reaction video. The teams have just dropped to Ibrox. Let's get Chris in the shot more than what he normally is. We're sat here in the press conference room at Ibrox, where Philip Clement will be sat in a couple of hours from now, where hopefully he is commenting on a Rangers victory. Without much further ado, let's get the team up tonight, and Rangers going with a back four of Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun and Jeffrey at the back. Balogun coming in for Robin Proper, who makes the bench, not fit enough to start. Midfield pairing of Connor Barron and Nico Raskin, with Tom Lawrence in that 10 role by Rami on the left, Cherny on the right, and Dessers up top. On the bench for Rangers tonight, Dujon Sterling comes back into the squad. Bailey Rice is on there as well. As I touched on, Robin Proper, Liam Kelly, Ross McCausland comes back into the matchday squad. Also, Mohamed Diamande on there, Neresho Cashmiro, Kieran Dill, Hamza Igaman, and Cole McKinnon and Robbie Fraser. And Zach Lovelace also, how could I forget him after impressing for the B team in midweek. Chris, your initial thoughts to that team?
I think it's much. We spoke quite a lot this week about what changes Clement could make. Would he make a lot? Would he change the system? Would he change personnel? And I think we've been fairly consistent saying didn't expect massive changes. That team for me is no surprise. I did in my predicted side on the website this morning, I did have Lawrence dropping out and Diomande in there just to give Rangers a bit of a different look and a bit of a different feeling in the middle of the pitch. It's no real surprise that he's sticking with that system. He spoke about it again yesterday, and is committed to playing this way. Time will tell if it's good enough tonight. But I think, as you see from the comments, see from some of the social media stuff, see from the game mood round about the press room, I don't think it's a massive surprise that that's how Rangers are lining up tonight.
Yeah, they need to be quicker on the ball. Tom Lawrence did say this yesterday. They were too lacklustre against Kilmarnock at the weekend. Could FCSB, the way they play, suit Rangers? Often in European nights, you're not necessarily overly concerned. I know they get hammered in the last game against Lyon, but FCSB are going to come out. They're going to have a go. Do you think that'll suit Rangers and how they want to play?
I think a lot of it depends on how Rangers actually start this game. Again, we touched on that the other day there. If the opposition do come at Rangers and there's potentially spaces there to exploit, that would obviously be good. But it's then whether Rangers have the cutting edge. How many times have we spoken in the last few weeks? Does this team have enough guile? Does it have enough goals in it? And then it's one thing, Rangers having those spaces, having those opportunities. It's another them actually being able to make the most of them. We've not seen that often enough over the course of the season. The goals record, the chances created, it's not anywhere near good enough. They will have to be more clinical tonight. You cannot, and I think back to the Lyon game here just a couple of weeks ago, the early chances, if Rangers get chances like that early on, you have to take them. You have to punish the opposition. And as we touched on yesterday in the press conference show, you have to give the fans something to buy into tonight. I don't think that's a team that's going to get a lot of people excited. They can get them back on side by starting the game in the proper manner and looking like they're here to play a more expansive, more attacking style of football.
Yeah. Mohamed Diamande then dropped from the team on the bench tonight. Chris, what do you make of that midfield pair in the Barron and Raskin partnership in there?
I think Diomande we have to say he's not had a great start to the season. He's not alone in that regard, so you can't single him out and say it's all his fault. He's definitely not had a great start. I thought he was really poor last week down at Kelly. Really fortunate with the one. It made the mistake on the edge of his own box. Really fortunate that it didn't end up in the back of the net. So he will maybe he could feel hard done by because he can say, well, no one is in great form. I think he's quite a big name to drop. Barron and Raskin perhaps slightly more similar. it's a big occasion for Nico Raskin. I feel like I've had this conversation with Josh on quite a few times sitting in this stadium over the last wee while. Every time Raskin gets a game or doesn't get a game, I say, well, will he get a chance? It could be a big occasion for him. I think that's certainly the case tonight. If he's going to get the chance in a game like this, he really has to come in and take it. If you look at the rest of the squad, midfield's not exactly blessed with an array of talent. It's really Raskin, Barron, Diomande, and then Lawrence also playing further forward. I wouldn't imagine Lawrence is going to drop back into one of those two roles. So you really two out of three. Dowell doesn't really come into it. Bailey Rice hasn't been able to force his way into it so far. So it was always going to be 2 out of 3. I can't have too many complaints over the fact that Raskin gets the nod, but you'd imagine Diomande will have a part to play at some point over the course of the night.
Yeah, let's talk about the forward line then, because Bayrami out on the left again. I would like to have seen him in the 10 role. I know my predicted team created a bit of traction on social media, folk going nuts at my lineup. I would have liked to have seen Philippe Clement being more just change it more than what he is doing. He hasn't done so. He's gone for the system that he has gone for pretty much since he arrived in Glasgow. Cyril Dessers up top leading the line. Rangers cannot afford him to have another performance that he put in on Sunday. He has to hold the ball up, Chris, can he?
We've been asking that question almost since the first time that we clapped eyes on him when he arrived here. So it's a big night. Now we speak about big nights for players. Dessers definitely falls into that category. We need to see more from him. I know that a lot of people would like to have seen Agaman get the nod tonight. For me, he's still not at the level. We've seen flashes of him. We've seen small bits. You think there might be a player in there. It's still a big call not to play Dessers and to play Agaman tonight. So I'm not surprised that's been the case. But Amy, like you, would love to see him in that number 10 position. It would look so much more effective in there. Would be so much more effective in there. But he's been asked to almost sacrifice himself. He's had to go out on that left hand side. He's doing a job because the squad options just not there. Yep. Obviously Cortez still injured and will be for some time. McCausland doesn't really seem to be trusted off that side this season. And also had his injury issues during the international break. And again, you're looking at the bench. Who else would you really say could come in and play on that left hand side to then put Bayrami in the number 10? If it had been Sterling, that would have created its own issues. And there's not really, the only other potential is playing Casemiro at left back and moving Shefty up a line. That's something that I'm certainly in favour for a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Something the manager doesn't really seem that keen on. Shefty, I think, has been really impressive in that left back role, so I can understand why they want to keep him in there. It's the Bayrami issue is an issue because it's a long-standing one of Rangers just don't have enough fit players in that area of the pitch, unfortunately.
Yep, I'm concerned about the forward line. I mean, we know there isn't enough goals in that Rangers team. It's glaringly obvious for all watching. Bayrami, I think, out on the left, I think he's a decent player out on the left, but I would rather have him in the number 10 role. Václav Černý on the right, like many on Sunday, had a poor game. He has to really show up tonight. Of course, in the previous match against Lyon, he missed that glaring chance, which proved costly. Defensively, any concerns with the back four? There was a lot of clamour for a back three and changing it up. You concerned the Rangers might be gettable tonight?
No more so than they have been gettable all season, unfortunately. I know they did have that run of clean sheets, but they were still giving up chances and giving up good chances during that run. Not surprised to see Balogun come back in. The manager didn't mention Robin Proper at his press conference. Also touched on the Ridvan situation. Clearly still not fit, nowhere near ready to come back into a game certainly like this, which is a concern. But the way that Shefty has performed, not a massive one right now. Again, I've seen the usual will James Tavernier be dropped question.
No chance.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
I think if fairly put that one to bed as soon as it comes up these days. Suter and Balogun have played together before, know each other, both experienced enough. I'm hoping that John Suter can put that mistake and Kelly out of the system at the first time of asking. I think in previous weeks he has been okay. No one in this side has been great. I think he's been okay, played well for Scotland during the break. That should have given him a bit of confidence returning to club matters. Hopefully that confidence hasn't taken a hit. But I think most people would be pleased to see Balogun coming back in. I know we touched on him. His post-match press conference at the weekend, knows what's at stake, knows the standards, knows what's required. And I don't have any fear about him coming back in and playing centre half tonight.
Yeah, I'd have played him anyway. Robin Proper for me. The jury's still out on him. Huge game for Rangers tonight. The manager needs a win, doesn't he? I mean, the atmosphere. I pitched up outside, got off at Ibrox at the subway, and the amount of people selling tickets was quite staggering for me. I wonder what the atmosphere is going to be like tonight, Chris. It's important Rangers get that first goal, isn't it? Or it could be a very long evening.
I think the atmosphere is going to be really telling and quite indicative of the mood of the fans. Now, you say the manager needs a result. I think that's an understatement. He also doesn't just need a result; he needs a performance. There has to be something more. Has to be something more tangible there. It's not just a case of, well, you sneak a 1-0 and it's 3 points on the board and onwards and upwards. The fans are looking for a bit more right now. He's getting bristled a couple of times at this line of they'll be better in October and November time. At this stage of the season, Rangers should be getting better. I think people have their own opinions on whether they are seeing the improvements month to month that he's speaking about. This is a huge game for him. He really needs to see a proper reaction to what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, let me just butcher the FCSB lineup. So, of course, Gigi Bicali announced this team a number of days ago. Tarnovanu in goal, Pantea, Ngazana, Dawa as a captain, Popescu, Al Hassan, Juma, Stefanescu, Felipe, Mikulescu, and Berlegia. So that is how FCSB line up. Of course, they come into this game with confidence. They're on a good run of form at the moment, Chris. There will be no mugs. They've won 2 from 2. If they can get a win tonight, I think almost all but guaranteed progression to the next round. They've got pace in the side, which concerns me because Rangers Jefty aside,
Rangers don't.
Yeah. It's not very pacey, is it? This is going to be this can go one or two ways. I think I was speaking to fans outside, and many are just hoping for a result rather than thinking Rangers are going to turn this mob over.
I think that probably sums up where the team and where the support and almost where the club are at present. If you think back a couple of seasons, a game against opposition like this would have held no fear for Rangers. Speak about Europa League Thursdays and the Ibrox factor and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
This is a very different side from the Gerrard side or from the Gio side that was able to produce those memorable nights in European competition. This side does not have that experience. It does not have that track record in this competition. And so I think this speaks about just where everything is at present. The fact that people are saying, well, they might not win. A couple of seasons ago, Rangers turn up and the fans are hugely enthusiastic about this. They back the team to go and win, and you just think it's another big European night at Ibrox. It is a big night, but perhaps for different reasons on this occasion.
Yep, let's hope Rangers can do the business. That team again, folks. Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun and Jefty. Raskin, Barron in the middle, Lawrence in the 10 role, Sherney and Bayrami supporting Serial Dessers up top. We'll be back on full time and hopefully we're reporting on a much improved Rangers performance and another 3 points in the Europa League. We'll speak to you a little later on, folks. Enjoy the game and I hope your team wins. Bye for now.